Okay, so as of 16th to the 7th, so 16th of July 2021, this is the ESD chart. As you can see, um, it's been sort of sleeping for a while now. And what we're seeing here is basically just early signs of the version 2 of ESD sort of starting to wake up. So it's been said in the Discord by mods that it could be as early as next week that the migration to V2 happens. So I'm not going to talk too much about the migration. What I'm going to show is just where to get a little bit of information about ESD. So as it is now, and maybe a little bit about what it will be when the migration happens to V2. So firstly, so this is kind of the benchmark. Frax is kind of the benchmark for what V2 it will be. It's not going to be exactly like Frax, but it's going to be a lot more like Frax than it is like current ESD. So it'll be a two-token system like Frax, where ESD will be Frax, the stablecoin, and ESDS. Maybe it's not called ESDS, but the other token, the share, will be like FXS. So you can kind of compare, in a way, you can kind of compare the current ESD to the FXS, because that's what you'll get in the migration. So one ESD will equal 1.3 or 1.2 or something ESD share, whatever the actual token is. ESDS. So basically, ESS, not ESDS. ESDS is staked ESD. So okay, here's the current app, right? So a lot of tokens are bonded and they will just migrate over. So a lot of ESD is bonded. I think over half the ESD in circulation is actually bonded to the DAO and will just be automatically moved over. My understanding is there's no benefit to bonding or not bonding. Like everyone who moves over is going to get the same rate. I guess the benefit it would just be that it would just auto migrate. So you can have a look at the supply of ESD here. So this is allocated to treasury, liquidity mining, ecosystem partners. So they've done a deal with DeFi Pulse to give DeFi Pulse basically incentives to do business development for them and get
get integration partners, and it's based on a KPI system. So that's kind of this is tied up, right? There's a total supply of 500 million ESD. This stuff is tied up, and a lot of this 1.6 million is also bonded. So that's on a 1 epoch or 8 hour, I think it's 8 hour lock. So, and a lot of that hasn't actually moved for a long time. There is more liquidity coming. You can see liquidity sort of building up. Interestingly, on SushiSwap and on Uniswap. So if we have a look at Uniswap, so there's 500, nearly $1 million, say, or $750,000 of liquidity on Uniswap, and there's a couple of million now on Sushi, which is sort of seems to be growing. So I don't know, maybe one of the ecosystem partners could be Sushi. I have no idea. It's probably likely. It's probably, SushiSwap actually does partnerships. It's probably likely that SushiSwap would be used, but I don't know. They haven't announced any other partnerships. So I could show you the snapshot proposal about DeFi Pulse, but just back to the app for a second. So all of the normal functions of ESD, expansion phases, coupons, stuff like that, is all turned off. So it's basically just a token that's being traded at the moment, based on the expectation of V2, which is coming really soon. So if it goes over $1, it's not going to go into expansion phase or anything like that. So it's basically a bet on, again, what the main competitor is Frax, basically, you could say. Obviously, other competitors are USDC, DAI, etc. It's a stable coin protocol. But the main comparison would be Frax, because it's a 2-token system. Frax is a share of that system, used for, I guess, minting ESD. I don't even know if it's going to be called ESD in the next version. But you get the idea. So it's kind of a bet on, in terms of fundamentals, the comparison is here. And then it's a bet on, who can get the most partnerships, who can, their North Star metric is the amount of ESD in circulation. So we probably should look at a snapshot. So this is okay. Well, this is about liquidity mining rewards. So there'll be liquidity mining on both the stable coin, which will be both the stable coin and the share. So once ESD is more widely used in protocols, these incentives should no longer be necessary. To bridge this gap, we propose allocation of 33 million ESDS, which is just state. I think this is just state ESD, as a linear drip over the next year to bootstrap the ESD curve market. So the stablecoin market will be a curve market. And then, okay, so I'm not. Additionally, we'll propose allocating 16 million ESDS to bootstrap liquidity of the ESDS ESD. So this is just for swapping for migration. This is just for migration. So they haven't. Oh, it will cover both tokens. So I think. I'm not sure if it's mentioned in here, but I think I read somewhere that the share market, so not the stable coin, but the share, which is equal to FXS in the Frax system, will be on a different platform, and it looks like there will be incentives for that, which makes sense. And then there'll be incentives for providing liquidity on the stablecoin peer as well. So that's important, and that's passed. You ask about the incentives for the share. But okay, so that's one thing. And then this DeFi Pulse partnership is like, this is a huge deal. They're getting, DeFi Pulse is getting 16.5 million ESDS vested over 2 years. It's interestingly in a revocable contract, which not an irrevocable contract, so it can be taken back by the DAO, which is, I don't know, I find that quite interesting. And it just basically goes on to say that they'll use the money to do partnerships, and they'll also get some extra money, 50K for each partnership, and there's some KPIs. So like a $10 million liquidity TVL partnership would get them an extra 100K, and so on. So like they have huge incentives to do partnerships, and obviously DeFi Pulse does have like a big network of partners that they can reach out to and talk to. So, and it's been said that a few partnerships have been done, but none of them have been announced yet. It says that there'll be a dashboard eventually that lists all the protocols that have done a deal, like an integration to basically use ESD within their protocol, I guess, and that hasn't eventuated yet, but like I'm expecting with the announcement of the migration, there will also come an announcement of partners, which is pretty exciting when you think, and that could be just basically it's been said next week. So it's Friday here. So next week could be like 3, 4, 5 days away. So what happened here is this is kind of, see this little bump here? This is when the kind of V2 got announced. And you can see, like, obviously this is when, like, the protocol just, obviously this is where it started to fail. Like down here, all through here, it's kind of failing. It's like, okay, it's failed, basically.
But then the idea of V2 got announced here, and like so the idea of a migration and a swap to the share was actually announced here, but obviously it took a long time to build, and so this was sort of almost like way too early, to kind of be getting excited. And so in hindsight, looking back, it's just grinded down to like really, really, really low valuation. And now V2 is just around the corner. Like they had an audit from Open Zeppelin, which I'm assuming has been done. None of the code is actually published for V2. So it's kind of stealth mode, and even though it's been said it's launching next week, there isn't very much detail. So if you go in the Discord or whatever, a lot of the detail is kind of dated. So it's a weird one. It's a weird situation. But this is the team that literally created an algo stablecoin. They coded it from scratch. Basically the first one that actually was implemented. There was, this is prior to Basis Cash. Basis Cash was kind of based on the original Basis protocol, which never actually launched. And so was ESD, but it was rewritten. But these guys actually wrote original code and implemented it, and it did function pretty well. And they were extremely competent. And it was an amazing project and an amazing community, and it's just sort of been suffering and kind of just in hibernation mode for months now, So and now it's coming out of hibernation. So it's a really interesting project with huge potential. If you look at Faye, have a look at the launch of Faye in the height of the bull market, how much they raised, and then if you look at the valuation of ESD, the track record of the team from ESD is for original code is pretty good. And then if you look at the valuation that you can get, a share in this protocol right now, it does look pretty attractive. It's 1/5 sort of almost of the valuation of FXS. I mean, FXS is doing really well. It's holding peg and it's awesome, But this project has good potential. And with this DeFi Pulse partnership, for example, it's going to be a battle to get ESD in order to get Frax in as many kind of places as possible. Same with Faye, right? It's who can get the most integrations, who can kind of spread out across DeFi, and ESD's positioned to to be at least in the running to do that, with this DeFi Pulse partnership. And so, yeah, again, it's a kind of a bet on a comparison between these kind of metrics, but also in the short term, it's a kind of, there isn't that much ESD available for sale. So there it's I could see this going to over 50 cents in the next 2 to 3 days. It touched 30 cents this morning.
and really like just a few traders, trading in it, really, like not much. And this has potential to be hyped. Like everyone knows this project. And it kind of has potential to turn the hype back on. Like there's big players in this project. Like there's big money that's been in this project, and it can turn on the hype like again. So personally, I'm expecting fireworks in the next like few days with this, and yeah, I might add another video if I figure out more stuff. Sorry, I didn't know the exact token names and migration. It is a little bit unclear at the moment, but I'm sure it'll become clear when it's about to happen, which is going to be. It looks like it'll basically be announced exactly everything all at once, and then migration will come soon after, which is kind of weird, and I don't really think that ideal, but that just looks like how it's going to be. So maybe jump in the Discord and ask questions and learn more about it. Yeah, cheers.